these food companies are going out to chemical companies to find the next best preservative that tastes good and is addictive.
Yeah, yeah,
And
exactly.
this is what's causing all of the diseases that we have today, because and I call the microbiome the mainframe of our body temple. It communicates with everything. And when you start adding man-made chemicals into this beautiful system, that starts disruption. It starts eating away at your gut, and it just goes off to a plethora of all types of diseases. And the funny thing is that I was researching. Whenever I hear a disease, it's like, oh, I haven't heard about that one. Where's that coming from? I'll
Yeah.
go to, Mr. Google, disease and the microbiome. And there are studies about every single disease out there today in relationship to the microbiome.
Just a little taster of what is coming up on the show. But first, please do like this video and subscribe to the channel. And also tell your friends and family about this podcast. Please let us know in the comments if you would like to hear any particular topic in relation to sleep or health. And I will create a show especially for you, just for asking the question. So let's get on with the show.
Before we start today's video, please be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any new videos.
Hello everybody, and you're very welcome back again to another Empowering Family Health podcast. Today on the show I have an incredible man who has been through a lot of life experiences himself, which have led him onto the work that he's doing today. We're going to be talking today all about the gut brain and the heart health rather, and the microbiome, mental health, and how mental fitness is the new physical health. So all about having a healthy gut and having a healthy mind. So before I bring Jeff in, I'm going to read you out a little bit of his bio. It's very, very interesting. So let me pull it up. So Jeffrey Berger, did I say that right? Berger or Berger?
Berger is correct.
Berger, great. So Jeffrey Berger, he's a holistic wellness coach, a humanitarian entrepreneur, a certified and integrative wellness coach, and a certified holistic mental wellness coach. And he is aligned with the only holistic mental wellness company focusing specifically on the microbiome. This is the gut-brain axis, the health that we're going to be talking about. And this science is really disrupting the whole health and wellness industry. It is huge. He's also the contributing author to the book, It's Okay to Not Be Okay, Amazon's #1 best-selling book. And he is a recording artist as well for a meditation project named Abundance. And Jeff is residing in Florida, and he also has his dog Zoie, is that right? And his 2 cats, Zoro and Zelda. Yeah, I love we just got a cat there recently as well, and we absolutely adore and love our cat. So Jeffrey, you're very welcome to the podcast, and thanks for coming. I really appreciate your time.
Thanks, Joanne. It's great to be here. And I want to just add that I also have a husband here that I live with.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. That's right. So you're living in beautiful Florida, and unfortunately, we were just discussing rather before we pressed record that you had that incident with the hurricane that hit recently. Right. So you're coming back to normal, wherever normal is, as we were saying. So you're coming back to terms and, progressing through it. And we were just discussing how your resilience to stress and the work that you've done yourself has enabled you to cope and have more resilience to this life-changing event, which is drastic for some people. So we're going to get into all of that. But first, Jeffrey, can you give us a little bit of background about your work and maybe your own life experiences that have led you to the work that you're doing today?
Sure. Thanks, Joanne. So I'll take a long story short. I am basically a survivor of childhood molestation, chemical dependency, and 2 attempted suicides. I lived decades with stress, anxiety, and depression at a 10+. And in my 40s, I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. So, and I'm retired from corporate America as a software engineer. I left in 2016 of August 15th, being totally burnt out and not being happy where I was at and wanting to do something different. What got me to doing what I'm doing today was a wake-up call because my doctor wanted to put me on a 6th medication. And I asked why, and she said, well, you're having complications from the other 5. And I said, well, who's to say that I'm not going to have complications from the 6th medication? And I just looked at her. I said, you're leading me down the same path as my father, who was type 2 diabetic. He had heart disease. He had a leg amputation, and he died with 12 medications per day. I said, that's not the path that I want. There's got to be another solution. So within so I went out and I was really looking and searching. I had come across holistic options. I was introduced to this holistic mental wellness company. I was skeptical at first, but I said, I've got to get this information. So I left my options open to getting information, because it's always good to get information. Don't be skeptical, get the information and then evaluate it. If it's something that is good for you, great. If it's not, then it's not. At least because you got the you've got the information. So I vetted this out for 2 weeks and said, you know what? I've got nothing to lose here, because this all makes sense. Plants were put here for a reason.
Absolutely.
And looking at the way the pharmaceutical industry is going, man-made chemicals are not working. It's a Band-Aid. So within nine months of getting onto a program, it allowed me basically to reverse my type 2 diabetes. And when I say reverse, it is getting me to a point where I'm non-diabetic, because I still have to watch my numbers, because it's all about foods. What kind of foods are you taking? What kind of foods are processing and raising your glucose levels? And so I got the numbers down to a non-diabetic. I lost 60 pounds. I came off the 5 medications, and I reduced stress, anxiety, and depression at that 10 plus level down to a level 1 with absolutely no depression in the last 4 years. So you can't put a price tag on that. I'm in better health than I have been. My doctor last January, kind of anxious to see what he's going to say next month. My last annual report was, whatever you're doing, keep doing it, because you're in the best health you've been in over 30 years. So that was really, really good. So now I'm out there really sharing this information about good health, because I know in America, and I'm hearing it more throughout globally, the solutions that are out there aren't working, and it's a pharmaceutical driven industry. And the other thing too is the food industry. The food industry is horrible, especially here in the United States. 10,000 chemicals, preservative chemicals in our foods, which causes gut dysbiosis. It eats away at the gut, which causes a plethora of different things. So that's what really got me into what I'm doing today. Getting into something that is of health and wellness, making a difference, having a profound impact. Because the last 10 years of my corporate life, it was like, I want to do something where I make a difference. And working for corporate America, which was CVS Pharmacy, was the company that I was working for, was not working for me.
It was so funny. Yeah.
So that it was the catalyst to get me to doing what I'm doing, and providing value to people, just to wake up, because there are so many people out there who are sick and tired of being sick and tired, not getting better, and they're looking for solutions.
Yeah.
So it's people like us that are getting out there and providing the little nuggets, because we're being pushed down from mainstream media and those 1%ers out there, and big pharma and the food companies, so forth and so on.
Yeah, I mean, and it is really, really, like, it's so prevalent, and you talk about the food and the pharmaceutical, and it's a business at the end of the day. It's a money-making business, and that's their goal at the end of the day. And you're so right, like with the food, We're over harvesting the land, and when we talk about microbiome, there's the bacteria in our soil is significantly reduced, all the nutrients in our plants are significantly reduced, and then there's the pesticides and all the toxins on our foods. There's just so much, and they say, I'm not sure the figures, Jeffrey, but our foods are now significantly, the nutrient value density of our foods is significantly reduced than what it was 40, 50 years ago. Like you need to eat 10 times as much to get the nutrients, probably even more actually. And it's not the people's fault, but I think it's up to us to understand what's going on and put something else in place that will work for us. And there is solutions, Jeffrey. So this impacts our gut microbiome that you were saying. And what is the microbiome, Jeffrey? And why is the microbiome important when it comes to our stress? There's so much that we can unpack here, but let's start with the microbiome. What is the microbiome?
So the microbiome basically is the gut, brain, heart axis health. And as you said, I truly believe it is a science that's disrupting the health and wellness industry today, especially when it comes to mental health. Mm-hmm. So the gut health, this is where this system is comprised of microbes. We have little critters in our bodies. We have cells, we have hormones, we have neurotransmitters, and 90% of those are created in our gut. And surprisingly enough, that all those things communicate with the brain and the heart through the vagus nerve, which is the largest nerve in our body. And it connects to all of the systems. And the gut health really basically controls our physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being in all aspects. Because if you have a gut that's what we call dysbiosis, it's disrupted, you don't have a good environment of gut flora down there, the communication is not going to happen up with the brain. So there's going to be mixed signals, and which ends up, basically causing the stress, the anxiety, the depression. This is really significant in everybody's life. And the sad part about this is, in my research, and thank God for the internet, because there's a lot of information out there, but there's also a lot of bad information. You got to make sure you get the right information. Mm-hmm. But these food companies are going out to chemical companies to find the next best preservative that tastes good and is addictive.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is what's causing all of the diseases that we have today, because and I call the microbiome the mainframe of our body temple. It communicates with everything. And when you start adding man-made chemicals into this beautiful system, that starts disruption. It starts eating away at your gut, and it just goes off to a plethora of all types of diseases. And the funny thing is that I was researching, whenever I hear a disease, it's like, oh, I haven't heard about that one. Where's that coming from? I'll go to, Mr. Google, disease and the microbiome. And there are studies about every single disease out there today in relationship to the microbiome.
Yeah. It's so powerful, the microbiome, folks. And, it's like an ecosystem in and of itself. We have more bacteria cells in our body than human cells. And you mentioned that serotonin, 90% of that is made in the gut. And the serotonin is very much involved in our mood. But also I'm the sleep success coach. So serotonin, we need serotonin to make our melatonin, which is our sleep hormone. It's our precursor. So this is another reason why we need to look after our gut, because our gut is very much connected to our sleep as well. It's a huge part. And I love what you said about the cells communicating with each other, because our body, what bugs me is, forgive the pun, what bugs me is, we've all these doctors, the cardiologist, the psychiatrist, you know, the immunologist, the individual doctors that look after a system in your body, but it's our whole body that works together. And you mentioned as well the different levels, you know, our physical, mental, even spiritual, and we need to be aligned to all these levels for us to be whole and complete, for us to work optimally, but also with our systems as well. It's all about our systems working together, and you know, our heart health and our microbiome and our mental health, it all works together, and all our cells communicate. That was the key thing that you said. And this is what we've got to understand. And I know you probably know Bruce Lipton. I met him a couple of weeks ago in Dublin. It was brilliant. But he talks about the cells. If the cells are in a threatening environment, they close down, because this is their protection mode. So if they're in protection, they're not growing. Right, they're not growing, and they're not healing, and all of this. So when we understand from a simplistic way that if we're putting all these toxins in our body, and it's not your fault, folks. Like this is the key message here, because a lot of people are ashamed of, you know, being so overweight and, you know, been ill health. So there's a lot going on that is out of your control. But I think, Jeffrey, what you're trying to say to people is, if they understand what's going on and what they can do and implement. So tell us about, I mean, I just love this topic, Jeffrey. I could just waffle about this all day. It's so important. And it is, you know, it's so empowering what we can do. Tell us about the gut, brain, heart axis. Tell us about how all that works together.
Yeah. So here's the thing is that, you know, this is a massive system that we have. And the idea here is that, as we've talked about, is that they do communicate with each other. But the key point here is that we need to feed our body the correct nutrients. You talked about the deficit of the nutrition in our food today. And of course, glyphosate is a huge contributor here in the US. I don't think it's over there in Europe. But glyphosate was actually patented in as an antibiotic in 1974, and it was injected into the genes of corn and soy, which is a GMO. And looking back over the years, the food has basically been, in fact, corn and soy has been a huge food filler in a lot of these processed foods.
Yeah.
And this has caused that disruption of the communication. Yeah. But the idea here is, as you start feeding your body the right nutrients, and there are people frown upon supplementation. The idea of supplementation is we need this to counteract the nutrients that we're not getting, because we're not getting the nutrition to feed that body temple.
Yeah.
And it's critical for those organs, the gut, the brain, the heart, and all of the other organs and the systems to be fed properly, the right protocols that are non-chemically treated, that are, you know, full of nutrients, but we don't have that. So fortunately, there are indigenous plants that are out there that actually replace the pharmaceuticals and doing what they're supposed to do. These plants are actually repairing the gut, they're feeding it, they're nourishing it, so each of these organs can talk to each other, because they're all independent, but they work together like a symphony.
Yeah.
And when you start introducing all that bad stuff, that symphony gets disrupted, and it's a disaster.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you talk about the plants as well, you know, we've evolved thousands of years with plants, you know, as medicine and food, and like the body knows, like the body is so in tune, and there is a life force in plants as well. They're alive, and there is that symbiotic thing that goes on with the plants in our body, where we're very tuned, and we were meant to use the earth, you know, and we've been taken away from that. And it's all down to saving money and maximizing profits. And you know what you said about the corn and the soy, and corn syrup is a very big one. That's huge at the moment. And you know, like even like you got to read the labels as well. Now you know, I think this is what we need to start doing, because even sugar, you know, it's disguised under many names as well. And we've got sugar in, I mean, I was horrified only a few years ago. I discovered We have sugar in yogurt drinks as well. I'm not going to mention names, but we've got sugar in yogurt drinks. And I went into my health shop there over the weekend, and I got a prune juice. So juice, and people think juice, like juicing is very good, but in some respects, if the fiber is taken out of it and it's just pure sugar, it's too much for the body to process. So we think it's healthy, and it's just knowing these things. But the prune juice that I was getting, it was there was 3 teaspoons of sugar per glass, which is quite a lot, and so yeah, like I'm still learning. I'm a health coach myself and a sleep coach, and I'm still learning an awful lot myself, and it's great, it's really great to be more. Every time I learn something more, it's very empowering. So tell us some tips. Maybe you've actually got a free wellness assessment on your website, Jeffrey, don't you? I think I've seen that.
I do, and yeah, it should be there. Let me go. I'll have to go back and check.
Yeah, I think I've seen it earlier on. There is a free assessment.
But also, let me share this with you, Joanne. And if I haven't sent it to you, I have published an ebook, How to Eliminate Stress Without Our Exes. And this ebook basically goes into a little bit about my story, and it talks about the pharmaceutical companies or the pharmaceutical industry, which started in the early 1900s by oil billionaire tycoons who wanted another stream of income. And this whole system changed back in the 1900s, and it talks about that. But then it also shows the top 5 pharmaceuticals that are used for mental acuity, stress, anxiety, depression. But then it also goes and it shows the side effects and what they're supposed to do. Then I correlate it to plants, what they're supposed to do, and their non-side effects. So it's a awakening type of informational book. It's free. I'll send you the link. People can take a look at it.
Give me the name of the book again.
How to Eliminate Stress Without Our Exes.
All right. Okay, great. Yeah, because, when we talk about stress, like behind every disease, every disease is caused by stress, isn't it, really? Because it's the body being out of harmony and not working together, not communicating. And we talk about stress, we talk about cortisol being our steroid stress hormone, and that just takes precedence. It just dominates everything in your body. And again, you're back to that protection mode with your cells. Right. And you're not sleeping either. And we need to sleep to have that deep sleep for restorative and for our mental health. So, there's a whole cleaning process going on in the brain for cleaning out the brain as well, our emotional health. But I think, Jeffrey, with the whole stress, some people are experiencing stress and don't believe that they actually are. So I think to be able to identify that, and there's nothing wrong, do you know what I mean? It's more empowering, and to find out what it is that works for you as an individual, because you say we're all different. Can you talk to us a little bit about I want to dive into stress a little bit more. So in the last couple of years, like whatever we've been dealing with in the past, the last couple of years, what have you seen, Jeffrey, going on with people? Because obviously the mental health figures have risen in the last number of years with all the pandemic and all that going on.
Yeah, so people's health is declined. People are getting a lot of brain fog. They're not functioning. Their energy is low. They're really confused. The pandemic, unfortunately, has really changed the world in many, many ways. And it's caused a disruption. Stress obviously is manifested in different ways, but even a low level of stress has an impact on the body. And the idea here is to really understand what are your triggers for stress. For me, those decades of high stress anxiety, I was a reactor to stress. And a lot of people, there's a lot of people out there that react. But then there's a lot of people out there who hold it in within, which is really bad, because this is where a lot of things can happen, because you're holding it in and it's destroying your insides. But when I came to the realization about my own stress resilience, I actually have a twin brother, and we both are reactors. And I say his level of reaction is much higher than mine. but I had gone home for a holiday, the Christmas holidays, and I encountered him with a stressor, and he lashed out. And I stood there and I was frozen. And I said to myself, oh my God, that was me.
Yeah.
And being able to, and I'm not saying I don't get stressed, I don't feel anxious, and I don't get depressed. It's a matter of how are you managing it? And what I do is I'm evaluating when I get stressed, when I get anxious, when I get depressed. Okay, I'm stressed. What does this mean? Why is this happening? What am I supposed to learn from this? And how can I move forward and learn and share that experience with somebody else? So that has been the biggest thing and realization for me in regards to my journey. Yeah, I pride myself on, getting my numbers down and losing the weight and coming off the medications. Oh, by the way, my doctor kicked me out of her office 3 months after I came off the meds. We all know why.
You're not worth it. You're not making any letting them make any money, Jeffrey.
Exactly. So, but stress resilience it's a game changer. It's been a game changer. And I want to get out there and teach people, about this and how you can feed your body the right protocols and understand the significance your gut health has in regards to your overall well-being. Because if you don't do this now, you're going to regret it later, because it's all about getting, addressing your health now versus addressing your illnesses later.
Yeah, and these illnesses can take, 10 years to develop, to manifest, but they do manifest while you're unaware of it. But I love what you said, and given your own example, understanding your triggers for stress, that is huge. And I think it's a case of being aware. Yes, it happens. And I even get stressed every day, but it's being aware and noticing it. And the more you practice it, I think the more you become conscious of it, And I love the questions that you ask yourself. So they're powerful questions, what happened? What just triggered me? And what can I learn from this? That's a very powerful. What can I learn from this situation, right? Because I believe life is just full of experiences. For us, it's like we're back to college, it's a whole learning experience. Life, everything that happens, it depends on how we respond or react or whatever. And I love how you're able to observe your brother as well, and you noticed. But what I also heard was you owned that you were getting stressed or whatever, and you owned it. You were being responsible, and responsible actually means the ability to respond rather than react. So that's how we're being when we're, being responsible. So, Jeffrey, is there any other things that you do or any other tips that you can give us to help us with our stress levels, daily practices that you do yourself?
Yeah. So there's a lot of different modalities out there. And the idea here is what I want to convey to the listeners is that this is a lifestyle change. We have been driven down a path of being directed to protocols that are not healthy for us. And we have to wake up and realize what's really happening out there and why it's happening. I have my own opinions. Well, that could be another whole discussion. But the idea here is you take this one day, one step, one day, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year at a time. I have a lifestyle change. I'm living a holistic lifestyle, and this changes on a daily basis. It doesn't change overnight. Do I still mess up? Absolutely. And the idea is to look at and I call it sense. It's supplementation. Are you incorporating supplements that are nutritious, that are science-backed, clinically trialed, plant-based? That's number one. Number two is the exercise. We need to exercise to get our body's metabolism up and running. And there's all kinds of exercise. Then you've got the nutrition aspect of it. What are you feeding your body temple? And then stress management. and that's a different things from massage to chiropractic to meditation to prayer. And then you add evaluation. Evaluate yourself from time to time,
Brilliant.
and see how are things going, what's working, what's not working. Well, okay, if this isn't working, what do I need to do to tweak it to get me to that next level? Because it's all evolving, and everybody's body reacts differently to different modalities, and you work towards getting it to the point where you're getting benefits from it.
I love it. I love it. I love the evaluation. I love the questions. What's working and what's not working? There are two questions that we don't ask ourselves regularly.
Exactly.
And it's so powerful. It's just what's working, what's not working. And because we just keep going through our day, doing the same thing, expecting a different result, that's the definition of madness, as we probably know. Most of us have heard that. So I love the evaluation. So that's really, really important. But I also love taking it day by day and keeping it simple. And doing small little tasks. That's what I can really hear, like not have a big, massive goal, just do small little things and take it day by day. How do people work with you, Jeffrey? What kind of work do you do with people?
So great question. Thanks for asking that. I work with people who are serious about wanting to change their life. Unfortunately, in order to get really well, it does take an investment of time and money, because what's out there today in the norm is basically products and services that are at low cost, but they're not the right programs and products to use, because they don't have the nutrients necessary for that. So what I do is I basically start out with an evaluation. Let's do this wellness assessment and see where you are today, and what have you been working on in the past, what's worked, what hasn't worked, where do you want to go. And we basically do a customized program, because everybody has different things. People are stressed out and their mind is filled with fog and they want clarity. So you've got the mind stuff, or they're having gut problems and they want to really address the gut initially. So we can start with the gut. So it's customizable, and that's how we start. And in fact, it's in my 2 articles that I'm just publishing in magazines that I'm doing contributing author, as I have a program called Living a GBX Lifestyle. GBX is gut brain access. And in this program, this is what I do. I talk with people, we assess, we figure out what's going on, we figure out what do they want to do in the long term. And generally this runs for a minimum of 3 months, but I've had people go through 6, 9, and 12 months, because everybody, it depends on where they are. They could be overweight, they're having a lot of problems. And just like mine, it took me 9 to 12 months initially to get through that big hump. It's not going to happen in a month or 2 months.
I think sometimes it's more practical and more effective when you do it slowly rather than trying to do it fast.
Exactly. It's called phased benefits. You really train your body to respond, repair, and nourish it on a incremental basis, because you're repairing it at the cellular level. And this takes time, and too many people are in that mode of that red pill or the blue pill, and they want results immediately.
Instant gratification.
Yeah, exactly. And you can't have instant gratification. However, there's some things that we do have that you can get some really great benefits within the first couple of weeks. But those who are suffering from different types of ailments, it takes much longer. But so that's it's a customizable program, and I'm excited to really help those individuals. And basically I'm helping people who are basically burnt out get to vigor in 90 days or less. That's the objective. And 90 days or less for, I'm going to say, people who are more aware, more conscious of their health. They'll get there much quicker than people who are I'll say, for example, I was overweight, I was diabetic, I was on 5 medications. That's going to definitely take longer than 3 months.
Yeah, you had a lot going on, and I could also hear that you had a willingness. You knew what you didn't want, and you knew what you did want. So you had a
Right.
willingness and a goal, like you had a why. So that drove you as well. You were very driven, and
Well, yeah, that's very true. And was it for me in the beginning? Yeah, it was hard. It was hell.
yeah,
But the catalyst that drove me to continuing was seeing my father in his casket, having died from type 2
yeah,
diabetes, heart disease, and a leg amputation. And I
yeah.
was like, I don't want to end up like that. I've got too much more to live for and to
Yeah.
give.
Yeah, I get that. I really, really get that. So you could see this, the possibility, the high possibility of this happening to you if you didn't make a change in your life. And also when you work with Jeffrey's accountable to you as well. He can, hold your hand, and it's all about, I think, habit building, new habit building really as well, isn't it? So you really need somebody to work alongside you, because too many of the times we can just opt out and say, I'll leave it till tomorrow. And when you start having that attitude, the habits just start breaking down
Right.
again. So it's really important. So Jeffrey, we're
Yeah.
coming to the end. I could talk to you all day. Sorry, were you going to say something else that time?
No, I was just going to say accountability is one of my favorite parts of the program, because I hold myself accountable, and I hold my the individual accountable as well, because that's where they're going to get through.
Yeah.
Because I want them to know that I care, and I want to make sure that they're doing the right things, and that I'm available for questions and answers, and that support, because there are many people who, they fall back, but it's a matter of, when you fall, you get back up, and let's take the next step. Let's
Yeah.
take the next step.
Yeah, and it's okay to fall back, because it
Yeah.
happens. It's okay. There's nothing wrong. But it's knowing that you're at the other end of the phone, do you know what I mean, or whatever, to get them back on track again. And that's what's so important. Like, it really is, And we're human beings, so don't
Right.
be so hard on ourselves. Oh my God, Jeffrey, I could talk to you all day long. Just to sum up everything, what would be the one message that you really want to get out there to people to make a change in their lives? What's that one message that you really want to leave people with to start taking action?
Great question. The one message that I want to leave is, please leave your options open. Don't be closed-minded to the systems that are out there. They're there for a purpose, but they're not there for everything.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are solutions that are out there that are not in the systems today that are having amazing impacts on people's lives. And if you can leave your options open, get information, and evaluate, that is going to be a game changer for you, because you have nothing to lose to try something different, especially when your doctor says, don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Just because the doctor says don't do that, and they don't give you a reason. That is the biggest thing, because there are amazing programs, there are amazing products, and there are amazing people out there who are hungry to help people change their lives. And as my business of abundance and optimum wellness, I believe we all should be living in abundance and optimum wellness, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and financially today.
Yeah.
All of this is a choice. You need to make a choice to do something different to get a different result. And lastly, mental fitness is the new physical health today.
Oh, mic drop. That is incredible, Jeffrey. And you are living proof of this. You've reversed your diabetes. It's more manageable now, and it's, some people think that once I have it or diagnosed whatever, they're going to have it for life, and I'm on medication for life. But you're living, breathing, walking proof, and you did this on your own. You just seeked it out, and I really get, you're so heartfelt in all this, Jeffrey, because I really feel that you want to help people, and you want to show people this is possible. You can have a new, abundant, healthy, optimal, thriving life right until the end of your years. You don't have to, just because you're aging or getting older, doesn't mean you're going to be frail and sick.
Exactly. And you talk about age and getting older. I'm 68 years old.
Holy God.
And I want to live. There's a bunch of us who are the humanitarian entrepreneurs who are leading this holistic mental wellness revolution that want to live to over 100. So that is what we are working towards.
Wow. Oh my God,
If
Jeffrey.
you
Oh
want
my
to
God.
join us, let me know.
Yeah. You know what, Jeffrey, can I ask you to come? I have so much more that I want to talk to you about. Can I have you come back on again in a couple of months'
Sure.
time? Would that be, yeah,
Absolutely.
great? Because there's
I'd be
so much that
humbled.
we can open up and talk about your humanitarian project as well. Absolutely. This is brilliant. Jeffrey, just shout out your website address.
It's www.jeffreyberger.biz.
Okay, great. You say Z, we say Z.
Z. Oh, that's right.
It's so great. It's so great. Brilliant. So Jeffrey, I'll put all that in the show notes, and I have links to all your social media, your free assessment. I'll have that there as well. And I'll put that sense that you have in there for your top tips as well. So I'll put that all in the show notes. There's so much there. But yeah, I'd really look forward to having you back on again in the future. But for now, Jeffrey, thank you so much for your time. Have a wonderful day, and we'll chat with you soon.
You as well. Thanks, Joanne.
Okay, take care.
Bye, everybody.
I do hope you are enjoying these conversations, and to help me continue pushing these videos and audio podcasts together, I do have an ask. I do need support to help me to keep bringing you knowledge and insights. There is a Patreon link, patreon.com/empowering family health, or you can make a donation via PayPal. All the links are in the description and the pinned comment. You can do a one-off, or you can do a monthly support. So I'd really appreciate that. Thank you, and have a wonderful day. Take care.